play you a clip from the BBC. Author Peter Hitchens gave the audience there a bit of a reality check about net zero. Have a listen.
Now, if you want to live in a country with net zero, if you want to live in a country where nobody can afford to heat their house, where people have incredibly expensive and largely non-functioning heat pumps inflicted on them, if you want that kind of thing to happen to you, if you want lots of people to lose their jobs because there's no energy, if you want to be cold all the time, if you want the computers which make life possible in practically every form of life to shut down every so often, then carry on believing that the demand to go for net zero, to keep it in the ground, is intelligent and thoughtful.
Might be the first time the BBC audience has heard that perspective. He also spoke about how many new coal power plants China and India are building every week. It's refreshing to actually see a different point of view, and it's very much a mainstream point of view that should have far more prominence on the national broadcaster.
Absolutely, because once again, Rita, right, we in this country have gone far further than the sensible Australians have, because the government right now has just had to admit it's made a mistake in banging the drum against gas power stations, because we're now having to build more. Rishi Sunak announced that this week. It's a bit of a well, that escalated quickly moment, and we're all saying, you thick wazzocks, of course we knew this would happen, right? We need gas to power our homes, to heat our homes. And here's the thing that's been absolutely nagging at me for such a long time now. The whole net zero rush is ending up being a raw deal for the people that the Conservative Party was meant to represent in 2019. So I was delighted. I described it as a gorgeous moment seeing Peter Hitchens take to task George Monbiot from The Guardian and the Liberal talking heads at the BBC, because he wasn't just throwing words into the wind, so to speak, Rita. He was actually spotlighting the massive gap between our green dreams and the cold, hard reality, emphasis on the cold, because it's your average Joe that's caught in the middle here. Our energy bills are absolutely sky high. So this push for net zero, it may be noble, it may be a laudable thing to want to do, but we haven't got the technology or capabilities to get there without completely immiserating the Western world, including Britain, including Australia, and making the least well off cold, hungry, and poor. Look at the farmers' revolution going on throughout the world right now, Rita, where they're saying this net zero, this eco-zealotry, it's actually ensuring that we can't grow food. This is a wake-up call. We need to throw the towel on green energy and our penchant for it, and actually admit that we need a plan B that doesn't leave everyone out in the cold, because that's what net zero means. If you ask me, Rita, net zero, it's net stupid.
Well, don't give us too much praise yet, Darren, because our current government is all in on net zero, and some of the emission targets they have set are crazy.
Which is
crazy,
mad.
unachievable,
It is
economy
mad.
destroying. Of course, it's self-harm. It's self-harm for a nation. Darren Grimes, always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for your time this evening.